You're absolutely right, the oil did change for a fact. My uncle started frying his chicken in lard in a skillet on top of the stove. Then he started using vegetable oil in his pressure cookers. Don't get me wrong, he used lard too, but he eventually switched to vegetable oil. Then the food police came along in the 1970s and said, you can't use that, it's unhealthy. And he had to switch to something else. But really, he didn't have to switch because he didn't own the business anymore. Brown and Massey owned the business until 1971. They bought it in 1964. By the 70s came the food police, told them they had to change it, so they did change it. People started noticing a difference. Uncle Harley noticed a difference too, but we had to tolerate it because it was the rules back then. Get to about 2007, I think it was, around April, they did their final change. They ran a few tests and trials in different franchises to see which blend of oil would have the least amount of flavor change to the general public. And they found it. And I believe it was a hydrogenated soybean canola oil mix. I could be wrong on that. An employee sent me a photo years ago on X of what they use, and it says it on there, but I can't say 100% that's what they use. I'm not entirely sure. But I know that their last change was in the early 2000s. They were not shy about that either. You want to know what else changed? The flour changed. An old franchisee from JRN, John O'Neill's brother, actually told me they used to use cake flour, or flour very similar to cake flour. It's very fine sifted flour. That's the kind of flour Uncle Harley used. He would reach his hand into the flour when he'd go to inspect a restaurant, give it a squeeze, and if it made a cob shape in his hand, he knew they were using the right flour. He didn't have to do anything else. That's how he knew. Well, they don't use that flour anymore, and although you get the extra crispy now and you get the original the way it is now, that does alter the quality. May not alter it that much to you and I and what we think about it, but it alters it to Uncle Harley. He was very fussy when they changed the flour. After he died, they made the full switch from the cake flour that he was using to whatever it is they use now. These are the changes that started making noticeable changes in the flavor and the quality of Kentucky Fried Chicken. The other thing that has caused a decline, which now we're seeing an increase, things are getting better since this video was posted. I used to have sour feelings with them when this video was posted. Now we're friends. The managers. If you got good managers, like regional manager Bill Hale, you're going to have great employees and great work ethic, integrity in what they do. If you don't have good managers, it's a recipe for disaster.